I want to do a little bit of talking about the 1886 Winchester and some of its features. This one here just happens to be my favorite rifle in 5110. Oh, by the way, that's a leather shirt I made out of some deer skins that I harvested, because these are hunting rifles and I do hunt, but I also use all the products that I get off the animals that I harvest. This is brain tan. I made it probably 20 years ago. But anyhow, get back to the gun. 1886 Winchester, 26-inch chrome alloyed steel barrel. It does a takedown so that you can pop this open, spin this around, and remove your shells from the end of the barrel without having to run them to the action. Although I don't do that. I generally, once I load my gun, I unload the bullets out of the barrel. Okay, let's speak a little bit about it. The original was invented by John Browning. He sold 2 patents at that time to Winchester. The first one was the 1885 single shot, and this is the 1886. And then he also created a third one in the following year. That was the 1887 shotgun that this represents, although it's not correct because it doesn't have the correct style of lever. And it's made in China, and it's not near the quality that the Japanese have. The 1886 first come out. It first come out in 3 calibers, and one of them being 4570, and the other, of course, 4590 and 4082. Okay, and the 4065 and the 3856 and the 5110 appeared in 1887, followed by the 4070, the 3870 in 1894, the 5100 450 appeared in 1895, the 33 Winchester in 1903. The 33 is an interesting cartridge. I wouldn't mind having one of those. Of course, I wouldn't mind having every caliber it ever come out in. They're very interesting guns, very capable, strong action, and generally very accurate. In 1936, it come out in a revised version, the Model 71, in the great 348 caliber. And it always had a round barrel, come out in 24 and 20 inches in the carbine. And it had a straighter stock to give less cheek punishment, and was much bigger at the butt to reduce the felt recoil. And you can see its pistol grips is much sharper than the old 86. It's also revised on the inside. You can actually hold that gun upside down and lever it. The cartridges won't fall out on the ground. And it's a very well made gun also. A lot of them are chambered in some really awesome calibers nowadays, like 50 Alaskan. Also, people convert it back to 5110. So let's talk a little bit about the 5110, which is one of my favorite cartridges of all time. It's a big bore caliber, and let's take a look at some of them. These here are the bullets I generally shoot. On the far left is a Barnes 300 grain bullet, which you can tell It's almost round. And then the next one is 530 grain hard cast gas check bullet. And then the one on the right is one I come up with, which is a 550 grain hard cast lead bullet. And let's compare it. Over here, the cartridge on the bottom is a 5095 for the 1876. It was incapable of using alternating length cartridges like the later Winchesters, needing to be the cartridges was lifted in an elevator, and so they needed to be the same length, which is one of the reasons why it couldn't come out in the 4570, because there were a lot of different lengths in the 4570 cartridge, and the shells wasn't very strong. And of course, if it wasn't for Winchester coming up with some really good shells, one of his foremen came up with some really good brass that worked and made really good shells, we probably wouldn't have a lot of the guns that we have today. But anyhow, this cartridge is a straight cartridge with a neck down. I mean, it is tapered, but it's very straight compared to some of the other cartridges, like the 4570 and the 5070. It has almost the same base diameter as the 5070. It's got a bigger base diameter than the 5110, which is the next cartridge up. And then you see a 4570, a 3030, and a 444 Marlin. As you can see, that 444 Marlin is a very straight case, but it is quite small compared to the 5110 as far as diameter. 300 grain bullet can be shot out of this 1886 Winchester, mainly because it's all made out of really good modern steel, up to 2,700 feet a second, give or take a little bit because of modern powder. And then the other two bullets can be shot to about 2,200 feet a second. Don't really shoot them that fast because the recoil gets pretty intense. I don't have a 450 grain bullet to show you right now, but it's somewhere in the middle, and you can shoot it at 2,450 feet a second. Because of the strength of these twin locking lugs and how strong of an action this is, I have read several articles saying that this gun is capable of continuous fire of 50,000 psi bullets for the 4570. None of these guns are loaded. I'm showing you how the action actually works. The 5110 is a very spectacular cartridge that has been used around the world to harvest big game. But what is really interesting about it is that for such a big cartridge, it is very accurate, easily able to shoot within 1 to 1¼ inch groups at 100 yards. I plan in the future to show that in a video, although accuracy can easily be altered in a video, so not sure it's of any value. As you can tell, the 92 Winchester is a scaled down copy of the 1886. As you can see, it has twin locking lugs, the trigger, and it is also a John Browning design. This one here is also a takedown with a half tube magazine in 3220, which is a very useful and interesting caliber. It started out in the 1880s. Alright, I think that about wraps it up for the 1886. We'll do other videos on other guns as we go. The 1886 went till 1936 when the 71 Winchester come out in 348 caliber. The 348 caliber was said to take over for the 5110, the 4570, the 405, the 35 Winchester. I mean, they just thought they was going to come out with one caliber just to do what all those calibers did. Now, the 348 is an awesome caliber, but it's not going to do that. If you guys would like to see more videos like this, please let me know.